Hello YouTube, I'm back again. This is Miles and this is day 2 of documenting my journey of taking my startup from a valuation of £0 all the way to a valuation of £1 million with no investors and with no external funding whatsoever. So let's get right into it. Let's go. So currently what I'm working on is marketing, and it's been a long journey. Yeah, the reason I am focused on marketing right now is because every business needs cash flow. You need cash flow for it to even be an asset for you, because at the end of the day, that's the whole purpose of you creating a business. You want to get cash flow. Now, if you're just pouring money into your business, i.e. investments from your family, from your friends, investments from your own pockets, which your own hard-earned money, worked hours for and labored for, and you put it into your business and it's not actually bearing fruits, then you, my friend, you don't have an asset. You've got a liability. The name of the game is we get rid of liabilities and we get assets into our garden. And that's what we're trying to sow here. Do you understand? What I've been doing predominantly is doing research into my marketing strategy. And the main thing that really comes to question when you're building up your marketing strategy is, what is your goal? What are you aiming for? And for myself, it's to reach that £1 million valuation mark. So currently, the question for myself was, how can I be a £1 million company? What does a £1 million valuated company actually look like? And I had a ponder. For a day or two. I really meditated on it and it came to me. I don't know if you can see this properly, but as you can see, we want the customer lifetime value to be greater than the customer acquisition cost. It needs to be always greater, so you're actually in profit for your business. Customer acquisition cost can cost anywhere from £1, which is viral marketing, to £100, which is normal marketing. You get into the dead zone, which is anything in between £100 and £10,000. And then £10,000 we'd say is actually sales. And anything in the millions, we're looking at high level sales, like expert complex sales. That's what we're looking at. Anything in the 10 million plus. It's bugging out. Come on, rise up. All right. So again, currently I'm in the dead zone. We call this zombie land, or the land of no return, which makes it infinitely more difficult to actually market my product and services or sales. Why? Because my service is priced in the thousands. So think about yourself. Any normal person won't see a service online and think, oh yeah, I'm going to splash 1,000 on this. No, it doesn't work like this. It takes time, and you need to develop relationships, and you need to develop a certain connection, that a sense of trust between you and your potential client, your potential prospect. As you've just seen, my services are priced in the dead zone. So you have to be creative, and there is a few ways around this. Number one, lowering the price of my services, so not being in the dead zone, but be in the marketing zone. So that is actually a viable option, and I will get into that and how I'm actually going to incorporate that into my marketing strategy. Moreover, it's best to actually just describe to you what each level actually entails. So in the bottom end of the range, where we had viral marketing and normal marketing, for instance, anything that you can buy just by looking at it, i.e. clothes, pet food, jewelry as well, just anything quick, anything cheap. However, web design, and this isn't general web design, this isn't me just getting a template off of WordPress or Wix and just mashing it out quickly and selling it for £700. That's not what I'm doing. I'm hard coding it from scratch using HTML, CSS, TypeScript, JavaScript, you name it. We're going low level, and we're fully making someone a custom website that is completely fitting of their needs. So it's much more scalable to have a website on that level. That's what's priced for me in the thousands range. When we get over 10,000, for instance, you'll probably have the budget to actually have a sales force. Once you get into the millions range, for the big businesses, we're talking corporate businesses, we're talking government, we're talking extremely large corporations. At that point, people don't want to even talk to a sales force or a salesman. They actually want to talk with the person in charge. They want to talk with the boss face to face. So more often than not, you'll be meeting with the CEO and actually having talks with them. But that is very complex sales, and that's not what we're in for just at this moment in time. So in general, people would want you to focus on just one distribution channel for when you're promoting your product slash service. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's practical, and moving forward, it doesn't make sense. Why? First of all, focusing on one channel will actually limit your ability to expand. For instance, say you're fully utilizing Twitter for your promotion and all of your marketing campaigns. What happens if your Twitter gets banned? you just lost a whole distribution channel. So again, that's not exactly wise. And going back to my initial target and goal, this needs to be a £1 million marketing strategy / funnel. So to do that, I believe I'll need to utilize various different avenues. Another reason to actually use multiple channels rather than just one channel is the law of familiarity. So lots of brands do this exceptionally well. For instance, Nike. If you've gone to JD, for instance, and you're looking for new trainers, and you see a pair of Nike trainers and you see a pair of unbranded trainers, you're not going to choose the unbranded trainers. You're always going to go for Nike. Why? They have ads everywhere. Everyone wears them in general, and their branding and messaging is so good that it sticks with you. And this is the law of familiarity. We're so familiar with Nike that they'll always be our go-to option. We'll always choose that over an unbranded option. And that is why the law of familiarity is going to be crucial in my strategy. I'm really going to utilize that in the top levels of my funnel and really getting my face and my name out there initially. So law of familiarity, sure you're not containing yourself to one means of advertising and marketing. I'm going to talk through the top level of my funnel and what I'll be utilizing. So first of all, it will be paid ads. And like I said earlier, paid ads would only work if the product is cheap. So what I'll be doing is incorporating a low level offer just so I can reach more areas of my niche and more areas of the market. And my marketing funnel as well won't just be 1 or 2 levels. It will be complex at this point because each level will be a chance for me to build authority and trust. It will be a chance for me to provide value to someone, because at the end of the day, marketing is just providing value on a large scale. You need to provide value to people, because if you see me randomly on a random day, you're just gonna think, oh, it's a black guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know him. I didn't ask to see him, and he probably can't provide any value to me. And I need to do the exact opposite of what I said. Provide a shit ton of value to whoever I'm working with, so they can have that clarity, they can have that peace of mind that working with me will assuredly give them the results that they need. So when you have an offer like mine and it's priced in the thousands, just running a simple ad will not work. I can't just hop over to Google ads, YouTube ads, you name it, Facebook ads, anything like that, and say, here's what I do, and I'm charging thousands, and I pray and hope that someone buys it. The likelihood is I'll just be wasting my money. That is not what we're trying to do at all. The solution to that is a complex funnel where at each layer I'm building trust and authority and aligning someone to actually see themselves working with me and building up that trust and authority with someone so they can feel comfortable with working with me and spending a substantial amount on me as well. So like I've said, marketing is all about giving value. At each stage of the funnel, all I must do, all you need to do as well, is give immense value. You may be familiar with the term that's coined, give value and in return you receive money. And that's literally the name of the game. You need to give as much as you possibly can in order to receive. Moreover, these deals that are in the thousands take time. In general, when people are paying thousands, it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just a in the moment decision that they make. They need to sit down, evaluate their decisions. They need to look at all of their options and see which is really going to be the best for them. And if I have proven to give them value, if I've proven to have worked with them and they've actually received victories from me already, they're always going to feel more inclined to actually work with me in comparison to someone that is just run an ad and they know nothing about. They've actually seen my personality. They've seen my character. They've seen what I can provide to them. And they already know, in a sense, what it's like to work with me. And that will put me over anyone else every single time. And that's really the name of the game. You want to be building relationships with the people that you're going to be working with. You want to be building bonds. It's not just going to be a one and done deal. It's going to be a partnership. It's going to be a new friendship, essentially, when someone actually decides to work with me, because I'm going to pour in my energy into your business. I'm going to make sure that it succeeds. That's me putting my dignity there when working with someone. So there's 2 types of marketing which I'm going to incorporate into my strategy and my funnel. The first one being one-to-one marketing. So the benefits of one-to-one marketing is you can really tailor and optimize the message for the person that you're reaching out to, which makes it much more personal and which will in turn increase the chances of you actually converting that client. And the second is one-to-many, which everyone should be doing in general, because if you as one person can hit a large audience, doing 100 times more work with less effort, with less input. And that's exactly what you need when you have limited funds, limited resources. Have to be incorporating one-to-many marketing in your strategies. It's crucial. So the types of one-to-one marketing that I was just speaking about would be cold outreach, cold outbound, so cold DMs, just anything cold in general where it's going to be a one-to-one interaction. Moreover, one-to-many, for instance, would be content, social media, radio, billboards, banners, newspapers, anything you can think of that multiple people get their eyeballs on is regarded as one-to-many marketing. So again, the top level of my funnel is going to be paid advertisements. So as I said earlier, I'll be introducing lower ticket products which can incorporate more of the market that I'm targeting, so more of my niche. So obviously there's going to be different levels of people within my niche. So some people might have interest on doing it themselves, so DIY, and they won't actually need my full services. I can actually cater to them by offering them a different type of service rather than my main offer. And people who don't have enough money for my main service, I can also cater to them with something cheaper that can actually help them in a similar way and provide them enough value as well. So essentially, I want to be able to cater to different and multiple levels of the market. And that's something you should be looking to do as well. For instance, say your niche is healthcare. You want to be able to cater to different levels of healthcare professionals. For instance, say the very top level would be large hospitals and the very bottom level would be new dentist practitioners. Obviously, they'll both have extremely different budgets, and you want to be able to adjust your offer and amend it so that you can cater to both of those people. That way, you're capturing more of your market just at different prices and at different interests and different levels. So that's what you should be aiming to do. And that's what I'm going to incorporate into my business in order to make sure we can reach that £1 million mark. So just adding on as well, I did say earlier that focusing on one distribution channel will really blindside you to what else is out there. So another great reason for using more than just one distribution channel is you want to do as much volume as you humanly can. So what that means is marketing is all about volume. You want to reach as many eyeballs as you can. So if I'm just using one channel, I'm really limiting the amount of eyeballs that I can really get onto myself. But if I'm using multiple channels, I'm really maximizing the amount of eyeballs that I can get onto myself. And on top of that, you want to be pushing as much content, as much marketing content as you humanly can, because marketing is a numbers game. Volume, volume, volume. If you're not seeing results, you probably have to do what you're doing 10 times more. And that's the name of the game, volume. So at first, when I was planning out my marketing, what I used to do was just mainly cold calls. And that would just be calling up someone from my lead list and not really offering them anything. Just saying, hey, I've seen what you're doing. I've seen your website. It could do with an upgrade. Let me step in. Let me offer my services to you. And the success rate there was not amazing. So I've changed my tactics a bit. I've actually done some research during these past 5 days from my previous video into what type of problems that people in my industry and my niche actually have. And I've noted that down. I've got a long Word document of all of their problems. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a lead magnet for each of those problems. Now, at first I thought it would be quantity over quality. However, you need to remember and keep in mind that these lead magnets are going to be basically your brand. They're going to show the level of work that you can do and how well you can do your work. So if, for instance, your lead magnet was shit, they will think you're also shit as well, which is why I flipped the script. And I'm now going to be focusing on quality over quantity. Why? Because high quality will lead to more conversions, and that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. So testing out my lead magnets as well, I'm just going to ask myself, would I pay at least £50 for this lead magnet? If the answer is a yes, on to the next one. Does this lead magnet actually solve a problem? Is it actionable? So within the first 24 hours, can I actually solve the problem that I'm using the lead magnet for? If the answer is yes, on to the next one. I show my friend that I live with who's also a businessman. Does this lead magnet look good? Would you use it? If he answers yes to all of my previous questions, we're in the game of the lead magnet. So the reason I'm using lead magnets as well, they'll be actually the next stage within my funnel, which I'll use to filter and convert all of my potential leads. So if you're not actually aware of what a lead is a bit of information of someone that could possibly be a client of yours down the future. So Generally, a lead will just have a name, business information, contact information as well. So currently the marketing funnel which I've devised has around 5 levels to it, and I've only gone over like the top 2 levels, so to speak. And what's going to be really time consuming is making each of these levels. So that will probably take me the remainder of the week to make each level of the marketing funnel. And then after that, I'll just be iterating and making improvements, being really meticulous about the data of your marketing funnel and seeing what's working, what's lagging behind. And obviously, wherever's lagging, you pour more effort into, you make amendments, you tweak, you adjust. So business isn't a one and done. It's not just something you do and you just leave it. You have to make amendments. You have to make sure everything's improving. So for instance, if you have a car, you don't just buy it and you don't maintain it. A business is the same. You have to maintain it after you've put everything into place. That's what I'll be looking to do after I've got the system running. Furthermore, as I do work 2 jobs, so I don't have a lot of time on my hands in creating this £1 million marketing plan. So I'll be planning on delegating. Before I go further into that, I do want to touch on delegating and outsourcing work. First of all, if the business activity is recurring and it's actually crucial to your business, I don't recommend outsourcing it. I recommend bringing that in-house and you hiring someone to do that on a consistent basis. If, however, it's one-time work and it's not recurring, then I recommend you outsourcing for cheap with an offshore specialist. If you know, you know. The best place to look for offshore specialists would be Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer. Those are 3 good websites that you can use to find your offshore specialists. Remember that one for sure. Why do I recommend those platforms? Because they're cheap. What else you need to hear? They get the job done and they're cheap. Things which I will possibly be outsourcing or delegating to one of my offshore specialists would be potentially the creation of the lead magnets, the creation of the lower ticket products, the creation of possibly lead lists that I have, the lead list for partnerships. So there's many different things which I could just like outsource on a very quick thing just to make sure that it gets done, because a lot of these can actually be really time consuming. And as a business owner, you do not want to be spending your time and energy on low level activities. There's this one saying and it's called the 80-20 rule, which I believe is also called the Pareto principle. I don't know if I said that correctly. The Pareto principle. What this principle says is that 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes. Now, how do I interpret that? 80% of the outcomes come from 20% of the inputs. So you as the business owner need to be pouring your energy into those 20% inputs to get 80% of the outcomes of your business. And that's what's really going to be the pipeline and get that cash flow coming. As a business owner, you need to delegate all of the low level activities and do all of the high income, the high level activities yourself to really ensure that that cash flow is coming in. What does that mean for me in a marketing sense? I need to make sure that the framework and the actual funnel itself is in operation. I'm mainly doing the thinking and the curating of the funnel, the top level, the mid level, and the bottom level. I'm not actually going to be doing the bulk of that work. I'm going to outsource that and let someone else do it, because I know that 20% of what I do will contribute to the 80% of the outcomes of business. Now that's something everyone needs to learn. What I used to do in the past was really exhaust myself doing 100%. 80% of the causes that only made 20% of the outputs would really drain me. You don't want to reach burnout doing shit that doesn't matter in your business. You need to delegate. You must delegate if you want to progress, if you really want to see your business elevate and yourself elevate. And that also brings me on to how much time do I generally spend in my business. So say in general, I'll work at least 8 hours every day, 7 days a week. The remainder of my time is going into my business. So I don't really keep track. I just know I have certain tasks to do and I complete those tasks. So as a business owner, you're not really going to have anyone on your back telling you what to do. You just have to make sure you have some discipline and you have some self rules imposed on yourself to tell you that you need to do this in this amount of time. You need to complete this in X amount of time, etc. No one's going to tell you what to do. No one's going to hold your hand. You need to make sure the business moves. You're the boss, so you make it happen. A good rule of thumb to actually go by as well is doing 100 minutes of each urgent business activity. So when I say urgent, there's 4 ways to categorize different business activities. So the not urgent, the not important, the important, and the urgent. Things that you want to be doing right now and today are the things which are both urgent and important. Those should be at the very top of your to-do list. Think back to the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. You want to be doing the 20% of things that bring 80% of the business revenue. So if you're still watching, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Share the video, share your thoughts. If you have any tips, if you have any comments, share them down below. That's it from me. Tune in next time. I'm going to give you more of an update. Thank you very much.